Are you using email to engage your students with your online course? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use email functionality within WP Courseware to communicate with your students. Hi, I'm Ben, and on this YouTube channel, we provide tips, tutorials, and strategies for creating and selling online courses with WP Courseware. WP Courseware has some really cool email functions that can help you to keep in contact with your students. First of all, let's take a look at the pre-canned automated emails within a course. Most of these emails are automated. However, there are a couple emails that have different triggers. Let's take a look. Okay, so once you're actually in a course, you'll notice on the left-hand side here, you have an emails tab. Go ahead and click on that. The first thing we want to do is configure our emails for this particular course. So keep in mind, this configuration is specific to this specific course. So the first option here is the from address. This is the address which your students will receive the email from. The from name is just the name that will show up in their inbox from you. Next is the notify admin email address. This is the email address that will receive notifications from WP Courseware when a student needs a quiz graded, or perhaps they are actually out of retries for a particular quiz and they need you to make a decision whether you're going to allow them to continue or to actually take another retake. So this email address is going to be going to the actual instructor. Okay, so now if we go down a little bit more, you're going to notice we have 5 emails that we can configure here. I'm going to go through each one of these email notifications and let you know if they are an automated email or if they require a manual trigger. There is one email in here that is triggered by Wp Cron, so I will specify that coming up. So the first email is the course complete email. So let's go ahead and click into that. The admin and the instructor are synonymous, so it's one and the same. If you want the student to receive this email, then just go ahead and leave this configured to send email. Next, you'll have the email subject, and you'll notice you've got this course title, course underscore title with the curly braces. That is actually a merge tag or an email merge tag. And what that does is that actually will put the actual course title in here into the subject. And so the way to configure that, you actually have this option over here on the right hand side where you can select any one of these merge tags, and if you click on one, it will actually pop it right into the email subject. And same goes for the email body. Here you can configure your email body. You can write text, you can bold it, italicize it, create bullet lists, quotes, align your text, add links, etc. And you also have the option to insert merge tags here as well. So if you wanted to add in the course title, you can do so just like that. Okay, and this particular email, the course completed email, is an automated email that will be sent out to obviously the instructor if you have that configured, and the student if you have it configured, upon completion of the actual course. Okay, so let's move on to module complete email. Now again, you're gonna have similar options here. You'll have the notification for the admin or instructor, notification for the student, you can turn it on or off. Then you have the email subject complete with merge tags. Then you have the email body again with merge tags. Now these merge tags can slightly differ for each email. For the most part, they're pretty much the same, but you may notice some differences in some of these. Okay, so that's the module completed email, and this is an automatic email that will get sent out if it is turned on when the student completes a module. Okay, so let's skip unit unlocked email for now. I'll come back to that in just a second. Let's move on to quiz graded email. So quiz graded email is a little bit different. You'll notice up here you only have an option to notify the student. So this particular email gets sent out when the student completes a quiz, and if the quiz is a manually graded quiz or it requires a manual grade, then it will not be automatically sent upon quiz completion. It's actually going to require the quiz to, number 1, be completed, but also number 2, actually be graded. So if you're using questions that are automatically graded, then yes, the student will automatically receive this upon submitting that particular quiz. If there are manually graded questions, then the instructor will be required to grade that quiz. Once the grade is completed and submitted, then this email will trigger out and your student will receive this particular email. So again, you have the email subject complete with merge tags. Again, the email body, and you have merge tags. And again, you'll notice here we have quiz results detail. Now, obviously this merge tag is likely not going to be an option for the completed module email. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go back to unit unlocked email. Now this particular email, you'll notice, does not have an on-off switch up here. This particular email is actually triggered by Wp Cron. And the purpose for this email is actually when a unit is dripped out and is unlocked. So for example, if you had a unit that was available 7 days after course enrollment, when the course unit opens up, this email will be triggered out to notify the student that this particular unit is now available. So this email is actually triggered by Wp Cron. Wp Cron is just a method for WordPress to trigger functions based on a time interval. So for example, with this particular email, you can set this email to potentially trigger hourly or twice a day or just once per day. And I'll show you where you can set this here in just a second. However, just because you have that time interval set doesn't necessarily mean that this email will trigger right on the dot at that specific time. And so Wp Cron is really dependent on visitors coming to your site. So for example, if you had a Wp Cron event that was set to trigger hourly, the only way it would technically trigger is if somebody visited your site around that time. And so when somebody visits your site, Wp Cron checks to see if there's any jobs that need to be evaluated or trigger some sort of function. And once that function's triggered, then this particular email in this instance would get sent out. So now I want to show you just real quick where you can set the frequency for the Wp Cron job. So if you go down to the settings down here, and I'm just going to open this in the new tab. And if you click over to the Units tab, you'll notice that you have the notification interval. I believe by default it's set to twice a day, so you can set this to every hour or daily. Now, if you set it to never check, then it will never send those emails out. So we've had questions from customers on how to actually disable that email. So the only way to disable that is to use the never check option here. Okay, so let's go back to our email messages. And so I'm going to go ahead and cover the very last email notification here. So this is the final summary email. This particular email does not have automatic triggers. And again, here you can configure your email subject complete with merge tags for subject and body. And again, you're going to notice some merge tags like certificate link that will only be available on a couple of these different emails. And so this particular email is actually a manually triggered email. You have to actually click a button to trigger this email. So this particular email can be triggered right from the gradebook. So if we go over to View Gradebook, and I'll open this in a new tab, you'll notice right up at the top we have Email Final Grades. Now, how does this actually work? Okay, so let's just say you have 10 students, and of those 10 students, 5 students have completed the course. Now let's say you go ahead and click that Email Final Grades button. Those 5 students that have completed the course will actually receive this particular email. The 5 students that have not completed the course will not receive the email. And let's just say a week later, the final 5 students complete the course. Well then, if you click the Email Final Grades button again, then those final 5 students will receive this particular email. The first 5 students that completed the course that already received the email will not receive the email again. So WP Courseware does track who receives this email, who does not. So you can come in here frequently, once a week or whatever, and you can manually trigger this email so that your students receive their final grade. Next, let's talk about emailing your students manually. You can either email them directly or email the entire classroom. But before we get to that, if you found this video helpful, would you please do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel Make sure to hit that bell so that you're notified when we release a new video. Okay, let's have a look at some more email options. Okay, so now let's go back to our classroom. And you're going to notice that we've got an option at the very top to email the classroom. So from here, you can type in an email subject. Okay, and you can configure the email message, you can add media, you can create links, you can align your text, etc. Once you have your email composed, then all you have to do is send email, and it will send the email to the entire classroom. Pretty helpful, right? Okay, so now let's go ahead and close this out. And if you look here at the email column here, you can actually click on one of these email addresses to email this particular student individually. So now you can email this student with a particular subject and an email message and click send email, and it will just email this one particular student. Now the same functionality is also available on the students page, so let's quickly take a look. So if we navigate over to students, you'll notice we have an email column here, and same thing here. We can email students, add your subject and your email message, and click send email. Now the email function is also available in one more spot. So if we actually go into this particular student profile, you'll notice that we can email the student right here. Remember, it's important to engage your students on a personal level. Make sure they know that you're there for them to help them through the course. Believe it or not, you can add a ton of value to your course by interacting with your students, which can lead to better retention, and perhaps they will buy another course from you. I hope you found this video tutorial super helpful. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.